Hello, Internet! So this is the first semester that I've been teaching a flipped class style. I've taught at a university as an adjunct instructor a couple of years ago, but then I stopped doing that because I was working full-time again, and now I'm not working full-time anymore, so I'm working part-time at a couple different colleges. So all this time, I've always kind of felt like when I was a student, lectures are pretty boring. I mean, they can be interesting and you can ask questions, but for the most part, students don't ask a lot of questions, and lectures really feel like something you can just watch at home. And I've made video tutorials over the years, so that's what I've been doing this semester. Every weekend I make my set of lectures for the next set of topics, and I have my topic list with schedule and stuff. I am not making them quite in the same style as the Beginner's Guide to Game Programming tutorials, because that would take a lot more work, but I'm basically making presentations with LibreOffice and setting up, the concepts that they would need to know, and writing some sample code as well in the videos, and stuff like that. So, the idea is that their homework is to watch the lectures, and in class we actually do programming, and that way they are asking questions on implementation rather than just mindlessly listening to me talk about things for a while. So far it's gone pretty well. I'm going to start trying to kind of change up the class periods now that we are in March and we're about halfway through the semester. I'm actually more than halfway through the semester, which is interesting. So, but I feel like the pace is getting a little bit slow, or people are getting kind of tired, and then maybe I'm getting kind of tired. And we're all, in both classes, we're on more complex topics now, so we can do more than just, like, tiny little programs in class. So, but what I've done so far is basically, they have lectures that they need to watch every week. By Thursday, we have Tuesday, Thursday class. Tuesday class, I write sample code while they're all watch, and maybe they'll write along with it, so that they can see me actually implementing whatever the concept was. So last week it was file I/O for my kind of like 101 level class, and then for my 201 level class it was, let's see, operator overloading. So this coming week they're doing polymorphism in the more advanced class, and all of the lectures I make for the more advanced class I can then use for the easier class, because they're both doing C++, and that works out really nicely for me. So basically for the 101-ish type class, all the lectures are done, because I've done it for the 201 class already. It's kind of a weird setup, because at one college, 201 is taught in C++, but 101's taught in Python, so I have to teach them all of C++. In the other class I'm teaching, which is a 101 type class, that's in C++. So it's weird. So there's just a lot of topic overlap. It's just the skill level is different. And the easier class isn't going to go into more advanced object-oriented stuff like polymorphism and data structures and stuff like that. And so on Thursdays we have a quiz, which is just kind of reviewing the topics from the lectures, and in-class exercises. So usually I'll give them maybe 1 or 2 or 3 different little programs to write that are based on what they've learned for the week. And that also gives them a chance to ask questions if they have any. And usually I give them some extra days to work on that too, because everyone is at a different skill level, so some people get done with it in class, some people need some extra time or need some extra help with it. But then they do that. They also have take-home programming assignments, which are 2 weeks long each, so every other week there's a new programming assignment. And then we have exams every so often, so 3 total exams for both classes. So now that everyone's on more advanced topics, I feel like things are slowing down a little bit, and it's the middle of the semester, it's kind of a slump, so I have a few strategies I'm going to try to make classes a little bit more interesting to last throughout the rest of the semester. So in my 201 class, everyone works on their laptops. They don't have school computers to use in that classroom because it's just kind of all desks, no computer lab. So I had them all install GitHub, and we did a little weird group project assignment where everyone had their own tasks. I set up the issues log, so everyone just grabbed a task, or I gave them tasks because no one volunteered for anything. and then they worked on it for a little bit. So rather than doing an in-class assignment just by themselves and everything's kind of like really quiet while everyone works on stuff, I'm probably going to start utilizing more group coding stuff for at least one of my classes. The other class, they're in a computer lab and I can't install any software on their computer like Git, so I'm not sure what I could do there, because it's always a pain to kind of like coordinate everyone's code together without source control. And some other stuff I was thinking about was maybe pre-writing a library or some code so that they get used to using code written by somebody else and learning an interface. So they've been learning C++, but they haven't been learning to use other people's code. I did have one exercise where they had to debug a bunch of code, and I really just had one line of code that was wrong for each of these little exercises. And you know, it takes a while when you're not used to debugging people's code or when you're reading like someone else's code. So that was a good exercise. But I'll probably end up having some pre-written code and having the students start working with code that is not completely their own, because that's what you do in software development, is mostly work with other people's code. You don't end up developing all that much unless it's a brand new project. I might also have them do some pair programming, or maybe have them all work on exercises but then do code reviews between each other before they submit it for grading. Yeah, so that's kind of a little bit of what I've been doing for my classroom. I just felt like writing, or not writing, just putting a vlog up about it. One of the challenges of actually doing all this is that I have to always like constantly keep a notebook to try to think of like sample programs or applications to use. It's like, oh yeah, you can only use polymorphism to write something that implements a bunch of document types so many times. Like, I just have to keep this with me, and when I'm out in the world be like, oh, this soda fountain, how would we write the software to do this? Or this other thing that I see, how does that work behind the scenes? Because like when I'm just sitting around brainstorming, it doesn't work so well. I have to just keep this with me so I can come up with ideas. Like in one class, we did it was like a calorie counter, but we used Taco Bell menu items, so it would aggregate all of the ingredients to tell you how many calories your taco had, or your burrito, or whatever else. But yeah, so that's it. Random video about teaching stuff. Bye!